Greetings. Time, emit, T-I-M-E, E-M-I-T. And I'll say it again. Time, emit, T-I-M-E, E-M-I-T. What is the correlation and the importance of these two words? Time is an emission of consciousness. We are emitters. We create the illusion or perception of time. I'm going to read to you a couple things I have written down here about time in my downloads on my phone. But let's set up a few basic understandings and misconceptions about time, which I believe are written in the description as well in the lesson of this video. But time is not a constant. Time is not localized to a clock. Time is not something that can be measured in the degree of consistency every single time. Time is also not a linear progression. It's also not a point A to point B. Meaning, you're born, you live, you die, but it doesn't work like that. Most people see time as only progressing forward, and they don't understand that you can travel back in time as easy as you can forward, diagonally, or up and down, or left to right. So now that we have that out of the way, what is time? Time, this is one of my most favorite topics to talk about, because for me, time is all encompassing. It is the only reason why we can experience and be aware of anything. So we have to draw some foundational conclusions here and insights here. We are the source. Oops, sorry about that. We are the ether itself. And as the ether itself, we are quite literally timeless. There is no starting. There's no ending. There was never a beginning. There was no Big Bang. There was only eternality or eternal presence. But how do you even begin to understand a concept like that? Well, one has to begin to understand themselves. If we are this eternal presence, that means there's nowhere to go. That means all we can do is really shift our concept of self, the rate of vibration, and our perceptions. And so with those things, we generate what we call experience or what we call life. Now, I believe I put in here a few audibles, like audios that you can listen to on time. I have to double check, but I'm going to read from this note right now. Time stream, time flow. Find the place in which you can reverse the river flow. Time is a flow of consciousness. A streak of thought generates time. Exercise, written down in the lesson plan. Before I actually just talk about that, let me tell you how it happened for me. I sat by the river, and I could hear the water flowing. Eyes were open. I could see the water flowing from west to east, watching it go, watching it flow. Beautiful, tranquil, powerful, and subtle at the same time. And as I'm watching this flow, I thought to myself, well, I'm only observing it. I'm seeing it flow simply because I'm aware of it, right? I'm aware, and I've chosen to observe it flowing this direction. So I closed my eyes, and now I could hear the flowing water. But I had no sense perception in which direction that it was going. I did not know if it was flowing north to south, south to north, north to west. I had no idea of where this water was flowing. Now, of course, logically, I knew it was flowing west to east, but just through the sound, I couldn't hear. There was no indication of which way it was going. It sounded like it was everywhere all at once. Now, I want you to take that concept and extrapolate it to consciousness and to time. The second that a soul or a part of the source becomes aware of itself, becomes aware, it starts to generate this river flow this gravitic flow of itself, meaning it now has something to compare itself against. It is now a flower and not the ether. It is now a person and not the ether, right? It creates distance and space all through the awareness of self. Whenever you become self-aware, you start to generate time. Time is how you know yourself, because you create the linear progression of thought. I am Chris. My name is so-and-so. I live here. Those 9 things are all frames or pictures in the mind of the source. And you can mix them all up and they could look like this, but it's still a linear progression of name, monkey, Jim, Tom. There's still that bump, 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 bump. And as long as you have that linear concept of being a thing, you now have movement. You now have gravity flow. And with gravity flow, if there's something is moving, it comes with a velocity, it comes with a speed, right? A rate of vibration or frequency. That rate of vibration or frequency is where we get into the movement of time. It's a frame rate, right? So, going back to the river, when you're sitting by the river, you cannot, with your eyes closed, you cannot tell which direction the water is flowing. Not until your eyes are open. So just like we're this eternal being, and it's not until our eyes are opened that we direct and flow into a person or a flower, a cup, or whatever. So we quite literally choose to have this experience, and we generate time as we go. Time is changing your perception. Time is the same, a sphere of thought, energy swirling about. You choose the way in which it flows by your thoughts and perceptions. So if you see time as a sphere, it's not a linear thing, it's a sphere. You are the center of that sphere. Where your attention goes is an experience. That experience, it doesn't matter if it's considered past, future, or present, it's still an experience happening within the greater sphere. So the terminology past, present, and future become misnomers and kind of irrelevant, because there is no past, there is no future, there is no really present. It's all about your rate of vibration and your frequency that gives you the experience of something. As you call time the experience of the thing. But time isn't really a thing, and the future is not really a thing. It's just a rate of vibration that's different than something else. You see what I'm saying? You see the nuances here. This is shifting your perception of reality and how you generate your experiences now. Am I from the future, or am I from a different and a more harmonious oscillatory frequency range in the ether that is congruent and also simultaneously present as the Amish or as the Aztecs or something? You see, it's all happening now, but it's your rate of focus that gives you the experience that you call time. Time is a directionless flow of thought and consciousness ideas. It's directionless. There's no past. It's simply, I'm thinking of doing this. It's just happening. Now, you associate it with being something in the present moment if it is correlated to the general consensus of what the present moment is supposed to be like. If the present moment is supposed to be 2024, and in 2024 people have this kind of house, that kind of car, and drink this kind of juice or whatever, then you're going to say, I live in the year 2024. So a year is just made up of the objects in it, but it's not the year itself that is the experience. You are the experience. So time is a directionless flow of thought and conscious ideas. That's all it is. It's just a set of ideas. Another experiment you could do, go for a walk, and as you're walking, see and feel yourself walking backwards, and in reverse, see yourself at the location you just came from, while your body is still walking forwards. You perceive your consciousness as moving in a different flow of time and thought. So you're walking, and as you're walking, I want you to imagine yourself walking the other direction. Continue to move with your body, but imagine yourself walking the other direction. Can you hold that perception? Would you say that the you that is walking in the other direction is going back to the past? But if they're going back in the past, how are they doing it in the now? And if you walking in the future, how are you doing it in the now? Or is it all a matter of correlation, relativity? Are you really walking in the past, or are you just observing the frequency and the ideas and the concepts of it? You see? When you understand time, you understand everything. You start to comprehend, everything might be a strong word, but you start to comprehend the deeper flows of life itself. It's very important to comprehend the movement of time. When we talk about time travel, we're not talking about moving into the future. We're talking about moving to a different frequency bandwidth. That's it. Now, in another video, I don't think it was this one, we talked about how all places, might have been this one, have their own frequency. If you can read that frequency, you can travel to that place. Traveling backwards in time or forwards or diagonal in time is no different. It's not about forwards or backwards, future or past. It's about vibration and frequency. That's what it's about. You become congruent with the place that you want to go to. Okay, we're going to read another one here. This is time slip. The beginning of time is the awareness of self. Do not think in terms of direction, forwards and backwards, past, etc. Instead, perceive the flow of ether when a thought arises. So we're going to practice this right now. I'm going to say a word, and I just want you to feel the flow of your consciousness as I say this word. Mountain. Chicken. Stars. Soul. Okay? You can feel how your energy starts to move into formulating the concept, ideas, and thoughts of those words I just said. That movement right there is what you consider time. Now, think in terms of frequency and vibration resonance. So you must generate enough focus to create a gravity field that then materializes the desired outcome and location. Okay? So you must generate enough focus to create a gravity field that materializes the desired outcome and location. Now, hear me out. What did I just say? Everything is based on gravity flow. If you're following your consciousness the way we just did, you're going to create gravity. If you focus enough, you're going to generate a gravity field around your body, and then that is going to become compatible with the thing that you are thinking about, or the location. Alright, so we're going to pause this video because it's getting kind of long. We're going to continue on in the next one and go over time part 2.